Hi, I'm Erik Linask. I'm here at Supercom, and I'm here with Sita Lowman from Nortel Networks. Sita, welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
So you guys have recently made, I guess, several announcements, actually. Maybe that's a good place to start off with.
Sure. As you, I'm sure, know, Nortel is still the #1 market leader for carrier VoIP, something we have held for 7.5 years, which we're very proud of. And at the show, we really set it as a goal to showcase to our customers and to the market a bunch of the new innovations that we have across our solutions. As a reminder, we deliver solutions for business voice and multimedia, consumer voice and multimedia, Class 5, of course, and the whole transit and multimedia interconnect. So one of the announcements was around our CS2000, which is our flagship SOP switch. And two different announcements with that. One centered on a new hardware platform based on ATCA. This is the second generation ATCA that we developed called the VSE, Versatile Service Engine. It's actually the 5th application we've put on this hardware platform. On the wireless side of the house, we put several of our core products, the Packet MSC for the CDMA switch, as well as the R4 for the GSM switch. And so now we're moving our wireline soft switch, which is the CS2000, onto this. Excited for our carriers because it really brings, major footprint reduction, power savings, a very large increase in the BHCA for our carriers, and all of the solutions now will have much greater, ability to scale and to have this operational savings. A bunch of new software, which is always fun, and talking about what can somebody do with it. SIP call center and really helping the carriers go after the hosted enterprise market. We've had some great success with carriers around the world on that. And now looking at, how do you host a call center? It's pretty costly to put all of that equipment in the enterprise, but if a carrier can host that for a call center, and one of our unique advantages is enabling them to do that across a mixed business group. So let's say you and I both work in the call center and you have an old P phone and I have a new SIP phone. We can both use the same carrier-hosted solution from the operator in that mixed group. And let's say our friend, George is also a call center guy and he's got to run home and do an errand. With our mobile extension capability of that, his mobile phone will ring just as if he were sitting right there on the call center, and he can take the call and manage it that way. So we're pretty excited about that. On the consumer side, looking at a lot of the same capabilities that operators can deliver around personalization. We heard a lot about widgets this week and being able to integrate, communications capabilities into portlets. Your TV, just thinking about how do you leverage your TV as the next communication device. And I don't know about you, but having to get up every time the phone rings, but now I can see on my TV that, George has called, and if I don't really want to call or talk to George, I can just click ignore from my nice remote. And so really being able to manage that call from the comfort of my seat. More centered on the regional side of the market, our 1500, which is our flagship soft switch for the small, the regional market. We announced a partnership with Genband, where we're basically for the market making available all that same nice TDM to VoIP Class 5 migration capabilities, but now for some of those older legacy TDM switches that other third parties might have had in the network. So now we can help those other operators migrate from TDM to VoIP. And so we're just really excited to be here. We've had a great show, super support from our carrier customers and coming out and seeing us, and we have a host of demos that we'd love to show you if you have the time.
Well, that's fantastic. One of the first things you mentioned was carriers being able to reduce their footprint. How important is that for your customers these days?
Well, I think as VoIP takes off, as you know, we're probably only 10% of the market is actually migrated from VoIP, right? So as the operators scale from hundreds of thousands to millions of lines, they want, they don't want to have to buy a building to put all their switches. They want to have, smaller central offices. So that footprint reduction is really important. And with that, all the power savings that comes with it, and really just a reduction in some of their operational costs so they don't have to, scale quite so large.
Now, talking about one of the other announcements, how big of an interest is there actually in hosting call centers?
Well, we've seen several operators that are, doing it either for large enterprise or large governments, and really enabling those same kind of, CPE kind of capabilities in a hosted environment. So really looking at that large Centrex space and offering these now value-added, things like SIP ACD, that again you could provide if it were on-prem, but now providing in the hosted environment. So I think you'll see more and more large enterprises looking to the carriers to deploy that for them.
Which is interesting because the large enterprise space has traditionally been one that tends to have its stuff on-prem.
But the government's an interesting sector of that, where I think they are looking, to do more and more of that.
Good. Well, that'll certainly be exciting to follow. And as far as the consumer side, I guess we're past the point where we're just okay with having a wireless phone or a cordless phone. Now we need everything connected to the screen.
Absolutely.
We've been talking here with Sita Lowman from Nortel Networks at Supercom in Chicago. Sita, thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the show.
Take care, Eric. Cheers.